Hello everyone, I am Ms. Shraddha Chavan. I am an assistant professor at DTSS College of Commerce, Autonomous. Today what we are going to understand are certain basics of business. Let us one by one understand what do you mean by business and what are the features of business. As humans, we perform many actions in our day-to-day lives. These actions are called as human activities. When I classify the word human activity, they are divided into two parts. First are the ones that are performed for monetary benefit. Monetary benefit means you get something in return of the thing that you are performing. For example, you do a job, you earn your salary. You save and you invest, you get an interest or a profit from it. So these things that are performed, these actions that are performed for money are called as economic activities. Whereas on the other hand, we can see that the activities which are not performed for money or monetary benefit, these are called as non-economic activities. For example, I talk to my friends, I sleep, I eat. These are not giving me any monetary benefits, but yet are human activities. So, human activities are divided into two parts. One, which give you monetary benefit, called as the economic activities, and the second, which do not give you any monetary benefit, they are called as the non-economic activities. So, let us state what is business. Business is a human activity, but a one of an economic type. So we can say that business is a human economic activity. Now, why a human economic activity? Because it is something that is done for performing and earning money. Let us understand the concept of the word business. What happens actually in a business? So in a business, there is a transaction of buying and selling. There is a buyer and there is a seller. But the seller is selling the things in return of a monetary benefit, and that is called as profit. That is a long-term thing that he insists on doing. What does a seller sell? A seller sells goods, services, and ideas. Goods are tangible products, something that we can see, touch, and feel. Whereas services and ideas are something that we could only experience or enjoy. I will give you an example of goods, services, and ideas. For example, if I go and I watch a movie, when I enter into the theater, if I go and take a popcorn, the popcorn that I am taking is sold by someone. So that seller is selling a good, something that is a tangible product which we can see and we can touch. The seat that I am booking in the theater or the cinema hall, that is a service which is provided by the theater. And thirdly, the movie that I am watching is an output of somebody's idea. So the producer or the director is coming up with an idea and showing it to you in form of an output. That is the money that they are charging for. So the popcorn becomes as the good. The seat that you book in the theater is the service provided by the theater, and the movie that you are paying for is basically somebody's idea. So there is buying and selling of goods, services, and ideas with an intention of earning profit. Let us sum up everything and understand the definition of business. So business is an economic activity. Why economic activity? Because it relates to money. It deals with buying and selling of goods, services, and ideas, and all of this is done for the intention of earning profit. Let us one by one understand the features of business. What are features? Features are basically something that describes a particular thing. So one by one we will understand the description of business. The first one is very clear to us that business is an economic activity. Why an economic activity? Because it is performed with an intention of earning a monetary benefit. It relates to money, hence business is an economic activity. Second, there is buying or purchase of goods and services. There has to be someone who is ready to purchase your products. If there is no one who is ready to purchase your products, then your business would not survive. So, the second description is that there has to be a buyer and a purchaser for your goods and services. Third, there has to be someone who is actually selling those goods and services. So, business involves buying as well as rendering of goods and services. These buying and selling transactions are performed with an intention of earning profit. So the biggest motive for any business is profit, because if anything is done for free, that cannot be called as a business. Business has to be related to money. Their main intention is profit. The next one is continuity in dealings. For any business to survive for a longer term, there has to be a continuity in dealings. You cannot just do business for one time and then stop. If you have to survive into the market, you have to have dealings that are continuous. What type of dealings? The buying and selling dealings. And when you are doing these dealings, you should understand that the customer is the king of the market. So you need to satisfy the consumer while you are doing these transactions of buying and selling. The next one is risk factor and uncertain returns. For any business, there is always an element of risk that is involved, whether this business will be successful or not, whether consumers would buy my products or not. So there is always a risk factor, and because there is risk involved in this, the returns that are expected are always uncertain. You can never be fixed what returns you will get. And lastly, it has to be lawful and legal. There are many procedures and registrations that are involved that in a particular business. So that is why it is said that a business has to be lawful and legal. So these are all the features of business. Let us understand this with an example. For example, if you are wanting to start a business, for example, अगर आपको पानी पूरी का स्टॉल लगाना है, तो पानी पूरी का स्टॉल अगर आप लोगों को लगाना है, तो सबसे पहले आपको पता होना चाहिए कि इस एरिया में कोई पानी पूरी खाने के लिए आएगा कि नहीं आएगा. So whether there will be a purchase of this good or service or not is the first question. Secondly, will you be able to provide these services or not? So buying, buyer है, selling, seller है कि नहीं is the second aspect. Next is there has to be continuity in dealings. Continuity in dealings, अगर आप एक दिन पानी पूरी बेचते हो तो उससे आपका बिजनेस नहीं बनने वाला है. आपका बिजनेस तब बनेगा जब आप उसको रोज बेचोगे और रोज उसी इंटेंशन से बेचोगे जो आप लोग आज कर रहे हो. एंड एवरी डे यू हैव टू सैटिस्फाई द कंज्यूमर इन द सेम मैनर. यू कैन नॉट डिग्रेड योरसेल्फ, अदरवाइज वंस इफ द कंज्यूमर इज नॉट सैटिस्फाइड, he will never come back to you. So your customer satisfaction is important. And when you are planning to put that business, you need to know that there is always going to be a risk whether people will like your pani puri or whether they will like somebody else's pani puri. So the risk element will always be there, and you would never know what returns will be coming. The returns might be better, the returns might not be so good also. So risk factor and uncertain returns. So these are certain basics of business. In the next lecture, we will learn more about it. Thank you.